Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing your savings are worth less than they were when you went to bed. Not because of inflation, not because of reckless spending, but because the very system holding your money decided to quietly rewrite the rules overnight. That is not science fiction. It's happening right now across the world, and most people are too distracted to even notice. But if you're here, listening carefully, you're about to uncover what the mainstream doesn't want you to see. Behind the polished smiles of bankers and the confident speeches of politicians, a silent battle is raging. It's a war for control over money itself. On one side, the traditional giants, banks that have dominated for centuries, shaping entire nations with interest rates and credit supply. On the other side, a rising force, decentralized networks, digital currencies, and investment strategies that can outpace governments themselves. The stakes? Nothing less than the future of wealth, power, and financial freedom. Consider this. In just the last decade, Bitcoin rose from being worth less than a cup of coffee to outperforming the stock market, gold, and even real estate. Every institution laughed at it in the beginning, until suddenly they weren't laughing anymore. BlackRock, the largest asset manager on Earth, now files ETFs connected to the very crypto it once dismissed. Why? Because they know something the average saver doesn't. The money game has changed forever. And here's where it gets explosive. Central banks are quietly experimenting with digital currencies of their own called CBDCs. They promise efficiency, speed, and security. But look deeper, and the truth is unsettling. A digital dollar or euro gives governments the ability to track every purchase, freeze accounts with a keystroke, and even enforce expiration dates on money. Imagine being told your paycheck must be spent within 60 days or it vanishes. Sound far-fetched? China already pilots this system. The West is not far behind. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, if the very dollars, euros, or yen in your bank account could one day expire or be blocked, where would you run to protect your freedom? Stocks, real estate, gold, crypto? The truth is, every option is under fire in this new battlefield, and the wealthy know it. They're moving chess pieces in silence while the masses scroll through distractions. If this news is blowing your mind, hit that like button right now, because staying ahead in this game isn't about following headlines. It's about seeing the currents underneath them. Look at history. Every empire that collapsed had one thing in common: a broken financial system. Rome diluted its silver coins until they were worthless. Weimar Germany printed paper until wheelbarrows of money bought a loaf of bread. And in 2008, the United States witnessed how fragile the global banking machine really was when Lehman Brothers collapsed, taking millions of lives savings with it. Today, the warning signs are flashing red again, only this time the stage is bigger and the stakes are higher. Why is gold suddenly seeing record demand among central banks themselves? Why are the world's richest quietly buying land, rare assets, and Bitcoin at levels not seen since 2017? Why are banks that once mocked decentralization now fighting to control it? These are not random moves. They are signals. Signals that the old system is creaking and a new order is being written. But here's the real question. Will you be a spectator when the shift happens, or will you position yourself to benefit while others panic? Stay locked in, because in part 2, we'll go deeper into the shocking strategies the elite are already using to protect themselves, and how one decision in the next year could define your financial future for decades. What you're about to hear will either terrify you or unlock the path to your greatest opportunity yet. The deeper you look, the clearer it becomes. The wealthy never play by the same rules as everyone else. While the average person is told to save, cut expenses, and wait for retirement, billionaires are engineering moves that position them decades ahead. And right now, those moves are accelerating at a pace we haven't seen since the dot-com boom. Let's start with a shocking fact. In 2024 alone, institutions poured over $15 billion into Bitcoin ETFs. That's not retail investors hoping to strike it rich. That's hedge funds, pension funds, and sovereign wealth vehicles. The same machines that fueled Wall Street's dominance for the past century. Ask yourself, why would the guardians of traditional finance suddenly embrace what they once called a fraud? The answer is brutal. They know fiat currencies are weakening and they need lifeboats before the ship sinks. And it's not just crypto. Look at the land rush. Across the Midwest, billionaires like Bill Gates and major investment firms are snapping up farmland at record speed. To the uninformed, this seems random. But think, farmland isn't just dirt. It's food security, it's leverage, it's power. In a world where inflation makes groceries double in price within a decade, owning the soil itself becomes the ultimate hedge. Do you see the pattern? The wealthy are not waiting for warnings. They are preparing for collapse while disguising it as strategic diversification. But here's where it gets even more unnerving. Imagine a future where every transaction is monitored, every investment tracked, and every movement of wealth controlled by programmable money. That's not conspiracy. That's the roadmap of CBDCs. The US, Europe, and dozens of nations are all running trials. When this system arrives, financial freedom could become nothing more than a nostalgic phrase. What happens when your ability to invest is no longer a personal choice, but an algorithm's approval? Now think carefully. If your wealth could be capped, traced, or even frozen at will, what strategies would you put in place today? Would you rely on the same savings account offering less interest than inflation? Would you park it all in a stock market manipulated by insiders? Or would you explore the very assets that institutions are quietly hoarding: crypto, commodities, private equity, real estate, and decentralized networks? These are not just investments, they are escape routes. If this perspective is sparking something inside you, hit that subscribe button right now, because the people who understand these signals are the ones who will thrive when the reset hits. Don't wait until the rules change and opportunities vanish overnight. Look back at 2008. When the market collapsed, millions lost everything. But a small fraction who understood derivatives, credit swaps, and short positions became billionaires. Not because they were lucky, but because they saw the cracks before the crash. The same is true today. We are standing at the edge of another great transformation. The question is, are you preparing, or are you being prepared? And here is the jaw-dropping truth that few will tell you. The next decade will not create new millionaires. It will create new empires. Those who adapt will hold wealth in forms that cannot be diluted, censored, or confiscated. Those who ignore the signs will wake up to find their accounts restricted, their purchasing power erased, and their financial freedom gone. So I'll leave you with this reflection. The system is shifting, whether you act or not. History rewards those who move early, not those who wait for permission. Where you stand when the dust settles will not be an accident. It will be the direct result of the choices you make today. If this message resonated, smash that like button, share your perspective in the comments, and subscribe to Wealth Unlocked, because together we're not just watching history unfold, we're unlocking it.